GM, we are back. How back? I mean, it's pretty simple, man. All you had to do was get a secret phone, take the secret SKR token, stake it, and man, play games on it. It was that simple, that easy. And yet, so many people are out right now saying, should have bought the phone. Why didn't I buy the phone? Man, how much more? Like, man, sometimes you could lead the horse to water. You just can't make the horse drink the water. Well,
right.
I'm bringing on another project. Hopefully, I could lead the horse to water. Hopefully, the horse could drink it. I'm bringing on Max.fun. If you haven't checked them out, definitely go give them a shout. Go check out what this is all about. But I brought the chief product officer to help us explain this so that I could go to my grandmother tonight at dinner and tell her what Max.fun is. So, yes. Deva, how are you, brother? How you doing? I know it's cold up where you are, but we're about to bring the heat. So let's get started.
Yo, what up, man? Calling in from Brooklyn, freezing my butt off, but really excited to talk about all the crazy things we're doing at Max.fun.
How do I tell my grandmother, bro? Give me the 30-second. Give me like the 1 minute pitch. Give me the TLDR. How am I doing this?
Yeah. Okay. I love the way you frame it because that's exactly how I think about it. All right. So we're building a platform. It's going to be around gaming. We are building a platform where anyone can come to the product, make a game, publish that game, have thousands of users play it, and then eventually start to monetize the game that they create. All this is built on chain, and all of this is built in the exact kind of framing that you put out there. Any product that we build has to be a stupidly easy UX. I think that's where Web3 stuff kind of falters. I want to make a product where my 9-year-old daughter can come play, mint her own assets, create her own product. And I also want to grab my dad, who is 76, and be able to come to the product and make a game. That is the lens that we look through everything on Max.fun.
Hey man, you said something there that kind of like struck a nerve with me. Are you trying to say that Web3 UX isn't easy and it's not broken? Come on, man. Web3 is all about breaking things that is not broken.
The way that I always phrase it to my team is I don't need to know my IP address to check my email. I need it to be that simple when interfacing with a wallet, when logging in, when creating an asset, when selling that asset. And so we are striving to make everything the UX, if you will, of Web 2, but with all of the benefits of the Web 3 world, ownership and the power of transactions.
Dude, gotta ask you then $1 million question. Like, how do you get to Max.fun? Like, how did you start this? Like, what was it? Like, what was it? What was it like? Is it something as a gamer and coming into Web3 that you were just like truly upset about, going through some of these trials and tribulations that we've gone through? And I think, look, at the end of the day, like I always say, like, I think I'm grateful for all the trials and tribulations because we get to learn, and hopefully, like the people coming in now are like, okay, here's the don'ts and here's the do's. We're learning, right? Like you're saying, wallets, and it shouldn't be this hard. Like you should be able to play the game. But what was it from you personally that you were just like, all right, like Max.fun got started. This is why it got started.
Yeah. It's such a great question. And it's going to be a little bit of a long answer, but I've been gaming since 1989. I'm going to age myself. I've been working in tech since 1999 in high school, again, aging myself. And I've been, keeping an eye on the Web3 world, initially in 2012 with Bitcoin as a store of value. But I've just been really excited about it and really kept a close eye since Ethereum started getting traction in 2016. In keeping a watchful eye, I saw all of the really great opportunities, but there were so many barriers to entry. Working in tech for as long as I have, one of the key learnings are the more accessible you make technology, the more people can use it. And you create this little crack for people to take something that's very simple to use and then just unload their creativity, right? And so all of these ideas are kind of swimming in my head. When we first, started Max.fun, there were a few things that we wanted to focus on. We wanted to build it on Web3. We're really excited about Solana. We wanted it to be gaming focused. Gaming is so engaging. Gaming, if you build the right game, it could really last and retain and be very sticky for users. This is a thing that I think about every single morning. How do I retain my users? And so we also realized through a lot of study that making a game is really hard. You essentially put all of your eggs in this one basket, and you can build an amazing game and it just doesn't get traction for reasons X, Y, and Z. So we wanted to build a platform that was, central to Web3. We believe that there were some really interesting strides made in the Web3 world. The two things that I've been studying just inside and out, Hamster Combat really showed me that there's an appetite out there. I think they had in the hundreds of millions of users about a year and a half ago. People want it, right? And I think when I look at things like Pump.fun, right? And this is that accessibility thing I was talking about before. They made it stupidly easy. 3 steps to, mint your own assets and then distribute that really widely. So, looking at all these things, I was like, wow, we have gotten to the point in the world where people can very easily spin up their own Web3 products. People are really hungry for games. And there are these things that are starting to kind of come up, these no-code builders, these ways to kind of create your own artistic assets. And so instead of making our own game, launching it on Web3, and really crossing our fingers to hope that it works, we are taking the more platformed approach. So ultimately, what Max.fun is it is a collection of game templates, if you will, and the user can kind of type in, the creator can type in certain specifications on how they want the game to work, and then it all gets put together through our no-code builder. It's a homebrew that we've created, launched on-chain, and then we kind of expose these game assets into these bonding curve pools to kind of get the initial traction and launch into a product that anyone can release. So really the story, this is a long-winded way of kind of getting to certain things in the market had moved. There's certain appetites that are clear, but the product that we're putting out there, we internally just kind of for fun call meme games, right? Something as simple as creating a meme, you can now create, with the only hindrances being your own creativity, a game. And kind of using the current dynamics that are out there, we think we have something that's really exciting.
Yeah, man. I actually kind of like, you have me deep diving into my head. Like, I think right now it's safe to say that the gaming industry is hurting, right? And I think it's also safe to say that corporate has done a job there to hurt it, almost in the sense. And I think we're going to see the rise of like indie games, right? And I think indie games is something huge. But I think indie games in Web3, I think might be what could resurrect a lot of the space itself if done properly, if done right, if targeted correctly, right? Indie games have always been something that has always struck gamers themselves, that keeps that dopamine, the want to keep playing these games. But we've lost that, especially in Web3. We've lost that. I mean, in Web3, it's been very much financial. And look, I get it. The casino works. I'm not going to say the casino doesn't work in Web3. It works. But there are other parts that we want to explore. Like, I think we are getting to that point. And I'll take a time out with why I say that. Because yesterday or the past 2 days, we've been seeing like legislation in the United States looking to find clarity on coming into the space, right? Now, I'll say this. I've come from a finance industry. Banks have always been wanting to come into crypto, right? Even though they're already, but they figured out. There was many talks with pretty big names in Web2, game developers, publishers, of them wanting to come into Web3, but they just didn't know how to navigate legally, right? They didn't know. And if that opens up, man, the guys at the forefront right now in Web3 that understand this and that could help build games correctly, put games out there correctly, are the ones that truthfully I think might be able to win. So I'm really, really excited to hear like kind of what your thought process was behind it, because it really kind of goes back down to being able to let those indie developers really have that autonomous freedom to be able to build the game without having to like, hey man, the blockchain stuff could be tough. It is tough, by the way, to build in blockchain, like everything that we need. You need special developers, right? That costs money on top of it. And so it's great to hear infrastructure's here. Infrastructure is finally, getting to off the shelf things. Hey, cool, add to cart, you're there. And I think you're being able to help facilitate. But I'll go. My next question to you is, what do you think is what we need in this space? What do you think is that what we need in the Web2 gaming space? Like, what does Web3 need to do first to be able to even say hello to the Web2 space?
Yeah, it's a great question, and this is one of those things where I'm sure in 6 months my answer would have evolved, seeing trends. But I think essentially a lot of the Web3 games that are out there seem to have some initial really exciting things, but they don't have that retentive power. And I think when I think about the corporate world kind of getting into it, I fear that there's sometimes too much of a cash grab, and it's kind of focused on early revenue. And we're building a platform, and the whole idea of this platform is to empower creators. You come to Max.fun with your creativity. You want to create a game that promotes your brand, leans into the zeitgeist, or you just want to make it for lulz, right? And we at Max.fun, our homebrew, kind of does all those hard parts, right? It leans into the infrastructure that exists. And so I believe that if you empower people to just put in their creativity, they don't have to worry about coding. They don't have to worry about smart contracts. They don't have to worry about legal regulations. I think we're going to see some really interesting and novel content that's out there. And the creators are motivated because they will own a majority of that asset. So I think this really kind of goes to entrepreneurs, innovators, people who are on the cutting edge, want to experiment with what's out there. They have a canvas to do so. And I think that's really powerful. That allows us to not put all of our eggs in a single basket to create the one game that works. This allows us to crowdsource and really kind of lean into the creativity of our community, where they're going to blow us away.
Yeah. And look, man, this past week with Red Guy talking about Roblox and how much they're making, millions and millions of dollars are being made, right? Well, man, like the concept isn't hard, right? It's that like, hey, you're able to build these maps, you're able to do all this stuff. And I think you come back to Max.fun and man, it's hey, look, here's the playground. It's there for you to build whatever you want to build. It's that same concept. It's just now finding ways to maybe intertwine or bring gamers in and keep them retaining, jump from different games, create this like ecosystem, create these quick games sometimes maybe, or whatever that is, right? I do think that we've gone to the quicker games, especially today's, retention, TikTok. It's an average of 2 seconds per TikTok before the guy swipes up or swipes. And so it's like, yeah, okay, so what can we do for games to compete with that? And I think there is a lot. And I think that it's things like what you're mentioning now that Max.fun could be able to do. Let me ask you here the question to what is the thing that you're asking devs? Like, what's your message to those devs that are listening? Why Max.fun versus what everything else out there exists? Why Max.fun should be somewhere they should kind of come and check out and also build on?
Yeah. So look, Max.fun is initially focusing on simplicity. And so our first tour of duty, as we're calling it, our first chunk of work that we're going to release is going to be focused on very classic games, right? And so a person with a creative mindset, a developer, designer, anyone really, can come to the product and make their own version of like a bubble shooter or a solitaire game. We have some prototypes for like a boxing game that you can create, or something that kind of emulates Doom, Quake, Wolfenstein, but you kind of create your own, enemies and weapons and all that type of stuff. And so for our first tour of duty, it's really open to anyone. But once we conclude our first tour of duty and we have our first seeding of games in our library, my message to devs is, man, we want to work with all of you. In fact, I want to go beyond devs. I want to say anyone who's watching and interested in gaming, we have our ears open for you. If you have ideas around certain game engines that we can create that allow you to kind of riff off of that, I want to hear it. Just like email me directly, Dava@Max.fun. I read every single email I get. And then as we get more mature, we want to work really closely with game devs to help kind of create those initial templates on our product and really kind of be a place for gaming in general. I see a world where people aren't only riffing off the templates or game engines that we create, but anyone can upload their own game engine and then people can riff off of that. And so we're hoping to just be kind of a central place where people can come with creativity and allow others to kind of create off their engines.
Yeah, and I think that the reason I brought up the Roblox one was kind of teed it up here is to myself, to you, back to you, is going to be, the top 10 developers on Roblox are making 38 million, right? And Roblox is taking a significant part of that, 30% almost, even more on the fee. And then I think the creator themselves takes home less than 30% as well. And I think, man, this is exactly why I'm so bullish on Web3 and so bullish on being able to go on a Max.fun where the revenues and everything like that, man, is just completely different. It's a creator economy in Web3. It's designed for creator economies in Web3. And man, to hear that these are the significant fees to be in Web2, it makes me maybe why are you building in that space, right?
Yeah.
You're, at the end of the day, the corporate, are the ones that are reaping in the benefits. And I think what you're mentioning here, back to what you're building, but I'm assuming here is love to hear what that is for a developer to build, how the fees are structured and why they should come to Max.fun,
Yeah, man, just so on the nose. What a great question. So you're right. When Apple first created the App Store, they set a precedent of collecting 30% of all revenue. And I mean, that's a pretty high barrier to entry. For a lot of people, that's their profit margin. Not only that, and this is one of the reasons I love Web3 is that, the movement of funds becomes incredibly simple with Web3 technologies. So that also allows you to kind of get rid of the second biggest cost, which is, credit card fees and all the huge cut that payment providers also take. Web3 is all about the speed, simplicity, and efficiency cost-wise of transactions and the ownership. And so we want to lean into both of those. With the ownership side, 30% is a crazy, cut to take. While Max.fun will be taking a cut, it'll be far, far lower, sub 10. And so we are really trying to empower our community and work with them instead of, purely just monetizing them and gobbling up their entire profit margin. If you gobble up their profit margin, their incentive and drive for creativity gets diminished. And we want to go for the mass market appeal.
Yeah, I think that it's why I ultimately am just super, super bullish on changing some of the traditional finance, right? Like Web3 is, and these payment rails, guardrails, everything that guardrails is really the great thing I always say is the guard that exists. And here we are once again in gaming and such an industry. It's still one of the largest industries in the world, right? Gaming is definitely bigger than anything. And I think whoa, the money that could come in and the money that we could do with Web3 is definitely really cool. Let's go back to kind of a couple questions to you. So, Max.fun, where are you development wise? When are we what's the dates that I should kind of be aware of? When should I tell my boss I need to take some time off because I'm going to go jump into Max.fun?
Yeah. So currently we have an alpha that's live, and anyone can go right now and check out Max.fun. It's it's an alpha, so it's just an early offering. But the three things you can do is get on the waitlist, and then we have two little cute features that allow you to kind of experiment with the concept of creating assets. So the first one is create your own avatar. You upload a picture of yourself, and it creates the Max.fun version of your own profile picture. This has been live since about Thanksgiving. I think we've had about 20,000 assets created. And that's from about 35,000 users that have joined the product since Thanksgiving, since November. Create your own avatar. And then we also very recently, I think it's been about a week, and we've had maybe 6,000 to 7,000 assets created. You can create your own little single game card. And so all of this is fun things to kind of get familiar with Max.fun, get yourself on the waiting list so you get invited in first. And they kind of help guide you towards our next big release, which is going to be at the end of this month, a solitaire game where you can kind of create your own custom deck. This is going to be essentially our beta offering. So come now, make some assets, get on the wait list, come back at the end of the month to try out our first game. And then from there, every month we want to release a new game engine, a new game format. So I think we have a few contenders right now. A bubble shooter game is probably going to be our second. So expect that at the end of February. And then after that, I think we're going to do the boxing game. But I don't want to get too ahead of myself. We got a lot of little prototypes floating around. We got to make sure we pick the best one.
Yeah. David, let me ask you another thing here. As you roll out Max.fun and everything that's coming out, is there a premiere game you guys are working on? Is there a game? Is there currently, how many games are there, kind of thing? Like what is the user right now, for those that are gamers right now, like looking to get involved from a gaming perspective as well? Like what is there something there for them as well? What's that call to action for them?
Yeah, I mean, I think anyone who is passionate about gaming should keep an eye on us to both play games, but then also make their own. So many times I've played a game and been like, oh man, I wish I could change this. I wish I could change that. And that's going to be coming really soon. I think our marquee games are going to be an evolution, beyond solitaire, things that get really exciting. So the boxing game I was hinting at is really cool. The way it kind of works is, I always think about the scene from Fight Club where it's like, if you could fight any celebrity, who would you fight, right? And you kind of type in any person that you want to spar, and then it loads up a game. It's very reminiscent of the early NES game Punch-Out, where you can fight Spider-Man, or you could fight Muhammad Ali, you could fight Big Bird, and I think that gets really, really exciting. I think there's a lot of like meme fun potential, and I think there's also some really interesting competitive aspects. I think I've learned from working at FanDuel is that gaming is fun, but when you add that competitive edge onto it, it really gets exciting. It really is a motivator for people, and so looking beyond our first release at the end of the month, Solitaire, we are really excited about incorporating competitive elements and having prizes associated in like a sweepstakes type style for any game on our product on a competitive basis.
The aspect of no code Web3 Game Factory that we are using here.
Yeah.
Maybe just on a 30-second for those that are not understanding what no code means, how simple that really truly means, and what coding does look like, and why that was such a barrier. Now with the evolution of AI and where we are, why no code has become something very relevant.
Yeah. So AI is crazy, and we'll see how all this stuff shakes out. But I think one of the most amazing use cases for AI is coding. This is not a novel idea. I think a lot of people are exploring this. And there's a few products out there where you can type some things and it'll build a product for you. It'll build an app for you. Now, where we currently are, man, it does so well at that first 70%, but it really drops the ball in that last 30%. And when you have a game, you can't have little holes or bugs because it ruins the whole experience. And so what we're doing now is we're kind of creating, I think you used the word earlier, I'm just going to reuse it, guardrails, right? And so a user will come to the product and they could type in as few as 3 words. They could also type in a full paragraph and upload their own pictures. And our own homebrew will kind of put all of the code together and publish a game for you. Now, why this is important, why this is different than what exists now is that the guardrails, the certain immutable aspects of our own homebrew, make it so that your game won't have a bunch of bugs and holes and kind of break you out of the gaming experience. On the facets of a game that can be highly customized and you can really kind of go wild with, we give users complete free reign. And so you don't have to know anything about coding to be successful at creating a fun game on Max.fun. You have to have an idea, a vision, and then we basically take care of the rest.
Yeah, no, that's where I think things are just gonna get exciting. Because
2 years ago, we were in a completely different universe. And I think in 2 years, we will be in another alternate universe. But in this period in between,
you mean metaverse, right?
And if you understand how it works and you do it right, you can offer a really beautiful, engaging, and fun experience.
Yeah, no, man. Really, really excited for what you guys are doing. Really excited for what you're building. I'm excited to see Max.fun. End of the month, there's some sort of alpha. Join the waitlist. How do people join the waitlist? What's the website? What's the Twitter account? Where should we follow you? Where do we need to have all the plug? Give us the 411.
Yeah, dude. I think the best thing for everyone that's watching, either now or in the future, go to max.fun, max.fun. Join the waitlist, create an avatar, and get ready for games getting published on a monthly basis. We're really excited.
Oh, dude. Well, we're gonna have to run it back in the next couple months. Whenever you get your top game, whatever that top game is, I'll make sure I could beat you in it, and we'll do it live here. And we'll run it for maybe the soul,
Yeah, of course. Yes.
But Dave, man, appreciate you coming on. It's been awesome hearing a little bit about what you guys are building. Truly, truly bullish on the future of Web3 gaming, and truly bullish to see you keep building. So till the next time, that's another show. Appreciate you coming on, and man, stay warm.
Thank you. Oh my goodness.